Hey guys, project-zodiac here. I'm back with another unboxing video. This is another movie 4K set unboxing. I want to be getting more content out on this channel, like simple things like this while I'm working on some bigger projects. My last big project that was put on this channel was that big Daft Punk science fiction biography. If you guys haven't checked that out, definitely check that one out. I'm currently starting work on another project that I will be posting on this channel, but that's going to take a little while because that one I am going to be filming some stuff for. It's not going to be a very long video at all. I don't want to go into spoilers on what that is, but yeah, in between like big project videos, I kind of want to do things like this related to movies, games, music, just art in general. Um, so a lot of like video essays, a lot of unboxings, my thoughts on things. So just quick videos I can get out and talk about the things I do like related to art, basically. So one of those videos is unboxing videos. So this is one that I recently just bought. As you guys can see, it's the Back to the Future trilogy on 4K. I bought this with a bunch of other movies. I've been upgrading from some of my Blu-rays to 4K and also getting a bunch of other movies I didn't have before, but that mean a lot to me. So whenever I'm buying these, I'm buying like a large amount of movies basically. Um, so I'll show a couple of the ones that I did buy um, recently all together at the end of this video, except that those things I'm not going to be unboxing this video because those things I've already opened and put them on my movie binder. So those are just gonna, so you guys can see what I bought all together recently. So I wanted to do an unboxing for this one because this is pretty special. Back to the Future is a movie that does mean a lot to me, but it's not one of my favorite movies ever. It's just a movie I really enjoy, or a series I really enjoy. So it means a lot to me in a way that, you know, it's just such a fun movie, and it's just, I can kind of relate a little bit to some of the characters, but not too much. Again, it's just a movie I really enjoy. Not one of my all-time favorites, but one that I really admire. I think that's the right words I'm looking for. And I have a story regarding Back to the Future and um, some a little bit about you know, the actors and everything regarding like a couple of things regarding this movie. So like in particular Michael J. Fox. So anyway, as you can see, it's a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray digital code as well. It is the Back to the Future, the Ultimate Trilogy pack. I do love this artwork. It's pretty cool. But let's just quickly remove the plastic here so we can take a better look at everything. Um, but yeah, I don't really remember the first time I saw Back to the Future. I was probably like 10 or something like that. Um, maybe 12. I don't know. It was a movie I did enjoy a lot, but it wasn't one, like I said, that I paid too much attention to until, you know, I was probably like 13, 14, 15, which, yeah. So that's when I really started to really enjoy these movies, the Back to the Future movies. And yeah, then I just like really, like I did enjoy it when I first watched it, but it didn't fully captivate me the way that it did much later. But it making it sound like it didn't captivate me at all. It did a lot. I'm just saying, I really enjoyed it even more um, when I was in high school. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. That's when it made me want to actually like buy the movie itself. Um, so anyway, I love the packaging for this. This is just in there. It's not like a thing that you can remove. I don't think. Yeah, it's not. Um, so we got Marty, his mom, his dad, Biff's grandson, and the doctor. Then we got the title, Back to the Future, the Ultimate Trilogy, and the DeLorean. I love this image. This is fantastic packaging. I really, really love this package. Definitely captures everything about the movie. Um, like if you've never seen the movie, you'll be like, why is there a cowboy guy? Um, why are these two here? What's up with the dude with the tin hat and this guy looking confused? But when you watch it, you're like, yep, nope, we know who all of these are. And then of course you got the DeLorean with fire and electricity. It's perfect for representing the entire series. The time travel aspect, the main character, the doctor, and the actual time machine itself. Um, so in the back, we've got all three films in stunning 4K. You guys can read this if you want. And then we've got screen grabs from the movies. So these two are from Back to the Future 1, Back to the Future 2, Back to the Future 3. Loaded with bonus features, over 1 hour of all new bonus features. So we've got the Hollywood Museum Goes Back to the Future, Back to the Future the musical behind the scenes, an alternate future lost edition tapes. That's actually pretty cool. Could you survive the movies Back to the Future? Plus a whole bunch of other stuff. So we got a 6-part documentary, the physics of Back to the Future, deleted scenes, Michael J. Fox Q&A. We got 8 archival featurettes, behind the scenes footage, music videos, audio commentaries, Back to the Future the Ride, Doc Brown Saves the World, short film, Out of Time, Restoring the DeLorean, and much more. So this, as I've already mentioned, is a perfect, and if you hear a fan in the background, I'm sorry, that's just my laptop. This is just a perfect packaging right here. Like I said, fully captures everything about the series, and it continues on to the back with actual good screen grabs of everything from the movies. So the things with the bonus features as well, it seems like it's a lot, and it's something that shows care for the movie. And I love it when there's a bunch of bonus features, because that's one of the big reasons to actually buy the movies physically instead of digitally. I know that you do get them digitally as well, but it's just a better motive to get it physically. So yeah, with all that said, let's just pull this out, and then there's nothing in here. And again, the fantastic packaging continues. I love this. If you guys did not see my good collector set versus bad collector set video, definitely check that out, because I do talk a lot about that and what makes, I think, a good collector set. This is just fantastic. I've always loved this poster of Marty looking at his watch, stepping out of the DeLorean, Back to the Future, the Ultimate Trilogy. And then this picture here is just so beautiful. Like, this is an amazing shot of the DeLorean. So this is so cool. Yeah, I really, really like this. All right, so let's just open it up. Now, it is all cardboard. So as you guys can see here, and I know a lot of people won't like things like that. I don't keep my discs in boxes. In fact, I don't know how long I'm going to keep this box for. I keep them in a CD sleeve. So for me, it doesn't matter too much, because again, it's not going to stay here. It's going to stay in a protective CD sleeve. So, but I know a lot of people don't like these kinds of things for like those people that do keep their movies in the cases, and I can understand why. It does scratch the movie, which is not good. But anyway, so here we've got Back to the Future with the original poster. This is just fantastic. I just love this poster, and it looks, yeah, I mean, it is the same one. It just looks a little bit more saturated and a little bit different here. So yeah, I kind of prefer this original one a little bit more than this one. But again, this is still pretty cool. Alright, you built a time machine out of a DeLorean. I still love that line. That's one of my favorite lines from the movies. Love this scene a lot. the Johnny Be Good scene. Yeah, these movies are just so fun. 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray and bonus features. So here's everything that's in this one in particular, I believe. And then we've got over here the 4K disc, which I love this cover art for the 4K disc. This is fantastic. I love this cover art, or disc art. So I'm glad that they went with this instead of something that made no sense, like a lot of discs does. But I don't really like all of these logos here, but it's fine. So I'm just gonna set this aside. And then we got the Blu-ray disc. And it's really nice that they kept the same disc art. Except, I don't know, for me there is a difference. This here looks a little bit lighter than this one. Yeah. So yeah, there is a difference in the color palette, but it's not too bad. So pretty cool. So I don't really have too much of a story regarding Back to the Future 1, other than this was a movie that me and my mom kind of both have watched, you know, like in the sense like this movie came out way before I was even born. So, and it's something that my mom watched when she was younger. So then when I was watching it around the same, like for the first times, she was like, "Oh, I've seen that before," and you know, she like loved it. And that's the same story that I said with the Karate Kid unboxing. So it's one of the few things that does show like movies can transcend generations, just like music. And then you can talk about it with your family, basically. All right. So we got Back to the Future Part 2. And then we got the Doctor right there. And the original poster. The hoverboard was so cool. Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. I also love that line. So yeah, it's not bad. And then here's all the bonus features. So yeah, it does look like there's extra like different bonus features for all of them, which is really nice. And I'm so glad that they went with this cover art or this card as well. Like this is fantastic. So that was the 4K disc, and now let's get into the Blu-ray disc. And here we've got the Blu-ray disc. Yeah, the saturation is a little bit different on both of them, but again, it's fine. It's just very interesting to see that. So now, in terms of Back to the Future 2, I do have a particular story that I wanted to share about this. So Michael J. Fox, when a couple years ago, I think in 2014 or something like that, he had been promoting the Power Laces shoes that I think it was Nike that made them, and it was for donations. Like people who would buy those were for donations for Parkinson's disease, because he has that. And I remember seeing that video so well, like on YouTube. And I even called my mom one day and I'm like, "Hey mom, do you remember this movie?" And I'm like, I feel really bad for them. I wish that we could, you know, try to go with that auction or that donation to try to get the shoes to donate it to them. We couldn't, but because as I've mentioned before, growing up, we didn't really have that much money. But it was, you know, a moment where even my mom, and again, touching back on like this is a movie that my mom kind of grew up with as well, where she's like, "Oh yeah, it is sad, you know, we really felt bad for Michael J. Fox and you know what he has to go through." So and that makes me even appreciate the movies a lot more, how dedicated he was to this role. And when I kept looking at the behind the scenes stuff, like how he, for the first one, I think he was doing his show and Back to the Future at the same time, and he barely had rest. Like he put so much effort into this movie, and the movies in general. He really wanted to do them justice, and he just seems like such an overall really nice, caring guy, and I just felt so bad for him. So I do hope, that he is okay, that he's being able to go through, the struggles he has to. I just feel bad. So yeah, with Back to the Future 2, um, they were really promoting that because 2015 was coming up, and I think in um, 10th grade in 2015, um, 10th or 11th, one of those two. But so they were trying to hype up those shoes, and I really wish that Nike actually made those shoes available to the public, because I would definitely have bought those Power Laces shoes. Um, it sadly, it was just a limited time thing, and it didn't actually tie themselves up, which is upsetting, but still. Um, yeah, so I wish one day we can get shoes like that because those are really cool. But they were really promoting it, and then I also saw a bunch of videos about like hoverboards that people were trying to develop around that time, and it just looked really cool. And I do remember one where there was like a little like I think it's a half pipe skate ramp, and but it was one that was made specific for this type of board that they were doing, and it did hover a little bit, and they would go up and down a little wow, on the ramp. Um, it wasn't like a skateboard, like it wasn't really going that fast, but it was still cool that they were actually trying to do that. And I wish that, I'm sure somewhere they're still trying to make a hoverboard, but yeah, I wish that we can get hoverboards soon. Because it's now 2022, so it's about 7 years since then. So now the last story I wanted to share about Back to the Future 2, and I do think that this one is my favorite of the three. I do know that number 3 is my least favorite, but that's also because I don't watch it too often. I tend to watch 1 and 2 more than 3. But the last story I wanted to share is on I think it was in October 2015, and I do have a Snapchat that I recorded from this. I raced home from work. It was the exact day that Marty McFly landed in the future in 2015. So like I raced home from school, and I started just putting on the movie, and it got to that point, and then right when he lands on the future, it was still daytime, and it was like around the same exact time. So I'm just like, well, it's the future. Marty McFly is now here, and I still have that Snapchat saved on my computer. So yeah, I just thought that that was like a geeky thing. But I love that, and I would still do that. So yeah, it was just cool, like watching Back to the Future 2 on the day that Marty enters the future in 2015. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, that's the last story I have basically. So let's just go into part 3. Again, we got the nice cool cover or poster. Again, part 3 is not my favorite. I do wish we had a part 4. I do think part 3 ends things in a pretty decent way. Here's the disc card. Again, I love that they went with this poster. Like, this is fantastic, this disc card, and it's something that makes sense to the series. So yeah, I do wish they made a part 4, and I know they kind of did with the Telltale games, which I still haven't really played. But I really want to play those one day. Oh, and then we got the code over there. So here's the Blu-ray disc, and then yeah, and yep, saturation is a little bit different on the Blu-ray. So yeah, and I guess a lot of people do consider part 4 to be the Telltale games. But maybe I could just watch like the cutscenes for that one day. Then we got, oh, sorry, I didn't show the bonus features here. So yeah, I'm really glad that they put a bunch of bonus features. So this is fantastic. Oh, and I didn't even say the quote. Your future is whatever you make it. I love that quote. That's a beautiful quote. And then 2015, you mean we're in the future? I love that. The movies are just so funny. And then so we've got some more bonus features over here. And then the bonus disc. So yeah. So Back to the Future is, like I said, a movie that I do really enjoy a lot. It does mean a lot to me in different ways. But sorry, I'm just getting things organized here. But it's also, a movie that does mean a lot to me, that I do enjoy a lot. But I never actually really owned the movies physically. So this is actually the first time I'm owning them physically. I did have the original Back to the Future on DVD, I believe, but never on Blu-ray, and I never had the rest. So here we are. I think this was about $37 and on Amazon. And honestly, this is definitely worth it. You got high quality packaging, that actually fits the series and represents the series perfectly. And you also get all of these discs plus a bonus disc. Oh, and I love that the bonus disc is the DeLorean. This is just fantastic. This is a representation of a great collector set or complete series set. I know that there isn't really anything extra in terms of artworks or anything like that, kind of like the Dark Knight Blu-ray set that I compared in that video that I mentioned earlier. But this is still fantastic. This should be like how complete series sets should at least try to resemble, instead of like that Harry Potter Blu-ray set that I talked about, because that was a mess. This is fantastic. This is perfect. Even though there isn't like a bunch of like collectible stuff, you don't need a bunch of collectible stuff. Just make something like this, because this is perfect. Especially the discard being uniform. Thank you. So yeah, I'm just really glad to finally own all of these. And again, I don't know how long I'm gonna keep this for, but that's fine. So we'll be right back to this. I just wanted to quickly show you guys the other movies that I bought together the other day that I've already unboxed. So I'll be right back. Okay, so just to go through them real quick, I got Blade Runner, the final cut. This was a movie that I have seen throughout the years, but I never really paid too much attention to it until a few years ago, where I decided like, all right, let me just sit down and actually watch it instead of multitasking. And then I just thought that it was really, really, really good. And I just watched it again. Like it didn't make me feel like I was in a cyberpunk world, but I thought that it was really creative and really, really visually amazing. So I really liked it, and I thought that the story was also pretty cool. Sorry, but it never truly captivated me until I saw the sequel, Blade Runner 49, which is actually the next one that I bought. So I did just buy them together, and then I liked it a lot more, and I was able to see the two movies back to back and just say like, yeah, no, this is really, really cool. I love the aesthetic of this world. But it wasn't until the other day where I unboxed this and I watched it with in 4K and HDR, where I was just like, okay, actually now that I'm like actually sitting down and actually watching it and seeing it in such a better quality than I did before, I do feel like I'm in a cyberpunk world. Like they did such a fantastic job. So seeing it again on 4K, it actually did um, make me appreciate this movie so much more. And I know that there's like 7 versions of this movie. I haven't seen all of them. I've just seen the final cut. But I've looked up like the differences between them many times. And I really, really did enjoy Blade Runner 2049. This one was so good. It really brought up the cyberpunk world, and expanded on that. And it's just so visually pleasing, just like the original one was. So really like these two movies a lot, and these are definitely movies I think that people should definitely own, just because like they're just really, really well done for sure. Another one is Akira, which I never really saw. I mean, I've tried to see it like once or twice when I was little, and I just never really cared too much about it. And then I watched it in full, for the first time like a year or two ago. And actually, no, about a year ago. Yeah, about a year ago, or up to almost a year ago. So it's still kind of new when I first watched it for the full time, for the first time. And I was like, wow, really amazed with it. The animation was amazing. I loved the cyberpunk futuristic city vibe that they went with. Um, and it even made me want to read the manga. I still haven't done that, and maybe I will later. I'm currently finishing a book series that I've been reading. But yeah, so maybe I'll get to Akira eventually, like reading it. But it really just captivated me, and I can see so much influence from so many video games and so many movies that I personally love, how they were influenced by Akira. So that's really cool. Also, I just noticed the other day when I was watching Blade Runner that Blade Runner, the first one, is set in 2019, and Akira is set in 2019. So I'm like, are these kind of connected in a way? I mean, they're obviously not, but I like to think that they are. Um, and this is the new version of Akira on 4K. I know that they made a. This is the one that has the HDR. This was the one that was released in January 2022. I made sure that before I bought it because I was wanting to buy Akira on 4K before, like I said, like 8 months ago, after I saw it for the first time. But I heard there was a lot of issues with like the package didn't have the HDR on the disc. So you would need a contact Funimation to get a new one. So I'm glad I did wait on it, and now this is the one that actually does have the HDR, on every copy. I also got the original Dune on 4K. This one does also have like a reversible cover. This cover is pretty cool. It's got the sandworms, but I do like the reversible cover more. But Dune is one that is very interesting. I kind of actually never really saw it until like, a few months before the new one came out. Or maybe I did try to watch it once, but I didn't care too much about it before. Actually, yes, that is true. I do think I tried to watch it once a couple of years ago and didn't care too much about it. But then I'm like, let me just sit down and watch it. And I thought it was really creative, really interesting. I do prefer this, the original one, a little bit more than the new one. So I know a lot of people are going to call me crazy for that, but yeah, I kind of do prefer the original one a little bit more over the new one. But I am excited to see what they're going to do with part two of the new one. The next one I got this, so those movies I just showed is movies I didn't own before, so those are brand new to me. But Super 8 is one of my all-time favorite movies. I saw it in theaters, and I just fell in love with it. So I actually do own this on DVD as well. So I wanted to upgrade it, and I just love this movie so much. If you guys haven't seen Super 8, just go watch Super 8. It's just amazing. I love it. Um, so the next two ones that I got was Eternals, because I do have all of the MCU movies and DCU movies. I was missing this one. I really did enjoy Eternals. I love the Ancient Alien storyline and how they sticked with that. And then I also got Shang-Chi. Um, I know a lot of people are not gonna really like this, but I do prefer Eternals over Shang-Chi because Eternals went in all the way with the ancient alien stories, whereas Shang-Chi barely touched on the Chinese. I think it is Chinese. If it's not, I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But it barely touched on the actual lore, the actual Asian lore, until they go to that valley. Like you barely got any of that until that end. So I wish that they did incorporate more of the mythology into throughout the movie, kind of like what they did with Eternals. So biggest reason why I kind of prefer Eternals is because they really went in. And the last one, Spider-Man No Way Home. So we were just talking about Back to the Future, how it has all these bonus features. I wish Spider-Man No Way Home had deleted scenes. I wish, they had a couple of extra things. The things that they do have is fine. I'm also not a too big of a fan of like this cover that they went with. Spider-Man is fine. It's just the background is what I don't really like. But I love this movie. I still have to get out my spoiler review. I just haven't really been able to sit down and watch it and make sure I said everything I had to. So I'll try to get that out soon. But this was actually a perfect example of discs that makes no sense with the disc art that they went with. Because the 4K disc, it's not in here. I just kept this for this video because I'm going to throw this out. The 4K disc art is literally just Dr. Octopus and then like a silhouette of Peter's shoulder or Spider-Man's shoulder. Like that does not make any sense at all for representing the movie. It has Dr. Octopus, but like why put him as a disc art instead of this? And here's the thing, the Blu-ray disc though is this. This at least makes some sense. So I don't know. I was just upset about that. But anyway, with all that said, there was 4 more movies I did buy, and those are the Toy Story movies. Toy Stories 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'll be unboxing those together in my next video. They're already here, they're ready to be unboxed, just over there on the other side of my bed. But so yeah, you'll see those in the next video. With all that said, I think this is a fantastic package. And it just really captures the essence of the movie completely. I really think you guys should get this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and with all that said guys, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day.